Right, Lee, here we are, back where it all started, on the canal. Don't seem all that long ago, does it, when you had that funny little rod with a top eye missing?
Nah.
Remember we caught those perch? A brilliant day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Hope we can do as good today.
Do you reckon we'll catch a lot of perch?
I don't know, mate. Don't normally get so many perch here. You get roach and all sorts of things, but with that frost last night, sun's lovely now, but there was ice just up as we drove over the main bridge up in the town. There was ice on the cut, and I thought we'd really struggle. Right, get your reel on. Remember? Get it right. That's it. Lined up. Good. It's a good bit of canal here, just outside Milton Keynes. It's well stocked, roach, odd bream, definitely some perch and gudgeon. Although, as I say, the water's gone very clear with the frost. Never know what's about.
Do you reckon we'll catch a lot of fish though?
I don't know, I think we'll catch some, because this sun's obviously making the water get warmer quite quickly. If we don't catch any this morning, I'm sure we'll get a few a bit later on. Right, be careful how you do that. You just lifted that a bit from the middle, and that can weaken it. You'll see the other side of this rod today. You know, it had that nice tip action for catching the fish on the river. Well,
yeah.
Here, you'll see this softer bit in the top come into play, because we're going to be using light line tied to our hooks and very small hooks, because one thing you do need in these conditions is delicacy. Got a bit of finesse. There's just one thing I'd like you to do, be very careful. See how you're doing that? You're putting a lot of strain on the middle of that rod. What you're better off doing when you tackle up is to put your tackle box away from the edge and lay the middle of the rod on it, and that will stop that happening, see? You don't want to break your rod before you start, do you? It's the only one you got yet. Right, get the line through. Hold of the handle.
Shall I put the bail arm over?
Yep, knock the bail arm over. That's it. And then we'll have a look at some floats that we're going to use. Traffic's getting a bit busy on the main road.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you reckon it'll scare the fish though?
No, that won't scare the fish. It used to happen all day and all night. It's busy main trunk road. Now these are the sort of floats we'll be using on the canal. And you can see...
They're funny.
Well, they're much more delicate than what we used before. You remember on the lake we used slightly bit bigger wagglers than these, a bit longer because of the depth. And then on the river we used the stick floats, which were almost that way up. Do you remember, with all the buoyancy at the bottom?
What's the reason for it going in like that at the bottom?
I'll show you. Now these are proper canal floats, and I'll take them in order. There's 3 different materials. These 3 are made out of balsa wood. Right? That one, very, very long, very slender, perfect for catching fish on the drop on punch bread. And on the bottom, it's got a swivel.
What's that do?
Right, what that does is your line goes through there, and then you lock it on the line with a shot like a normal waggler, but it collapses easily. So when you wind in, or when you pull in, if you're fishing with a pole, with a rod, when you wind in, it just completely goes slack and offers no resistance at all. So you're really right through to the fish, and all you can feel is the fish. It's just a normal, tiny little swivel that gets used on all sorts of things.
Does it help weigh down the float?
Slightly, it adds a little bit of weight to the float, but we load it at the bottom anyway. Most of the shot goes at the bottom, just 2 tiny shot down the line. Normally use that for fishing punch bread. Top looks a bit like it's had better days, but it's still very functional float, that. Pop him in there. These other 2 balsa wood floats, very finely tapered. One's a bit more finely tapered than the other. This one you'd use for fishing off the bottom, or just about at depth, with very small baits like squats, which we'll go into in a minute. And this one is a bit fatter, slightly thicker at the top, and you'd use that for caster. Now with squats, you're using maybe 3 tiny shot down the line, and you'll see that drop that float 2, 3 till it gets to the tip like that. With a caster, using slightly heavier shot down the line, because normally with a caster you're laying on, fishing over depth with a bit of shot on the bottom, so that will just drop the 1 shot, so you can see if you're getting a bite on the drop, and then that slightly thicker top will hold it still should there be any drift caused by the wind. Remember how the wind was pulling the float at the other place we went? Not quite so windy as that today, it's a much nicer day. Right, that's the balsa floats out the way. Now the other two, that is a homemade peacock quill float. That bottom bit there is made out.
Did you make it yourself?
Yes, I did. Made out of the feathers of a peacock quill. That's a little bit of thinner peacock in there, and that is a bit of cane. And this one you've got to fish off the bottom, because any sort of bait just dragging the bottom, that'll disappear out of sight. It's so sensitive. So you always fish off the bottom of that. It's got a little eye at the bottom, see?
Yeah.
For the line to go through. So it's very tight to the line itself with the shot either side. If you have a long leg on a float, a little bit out the bottom I call a leg, if you have a long one it tends to make quite a big splosh when it hits the water. You don't want to do that on a canal because it'll put them off. And this one is made out of a drinking straw. See? Just like you're getting your drink. And the top is a thinner bit of drinking straw and then a bit of plastic, bit of nylon bristle. And that as well used for fishing off the bottom with squats. And it's loaded, there's a little bit of brass in the bottom there as a loading.
How much weight does it take?
Oh, it takes very little, about 4 micro shot, 4 little tiny dash shot, one either side with a little quick change attachment on. One either side and then 2 down, and that's for in the summer when the fish are right up in the water and you dart it across at the far bank. Somewhere like, see where that bush is over there?
Yeah.
Well, if you're fishing quite close to that bush with a squat, you can flick a few squats over with your catapult, pop this out on top of it, and the fish will come out from the cover of that bush. They'll go under there as protection from the boats, you see. They'll come out from the cover of that bush, take your squat, you'll get a bite and you'll catch them straight away.
It's a broken down tree, not a bush.
Well, it was a bush once, it's now a lake bush. Right, now let's pick one of these to put on, and I think what we'll use today is, because we're not going to fish too sensitive, I think we'll fish with a caster one, don't you?
Yeah.
Right, let's put it on your line with a quick change attachment. These are a special small quick change attachment. Just made out of very fine silicone rubber with a swivel in the bottom, so you get no tangles. Just thread that on your line, and then you can show me that loop knot that I've taught you. Tie the loop knot in the end, we're going to put the hook on now.
Shall I tie a loop?
Yeah, tie a loop. See how good you've remembered it. Well done. No. What you got to do? What you forgotten? Wet it. Always wet your knot before you tighten it. That's it. That's it. Now tighten it up. Perfect. Bite your loose end off. These hooks I've already tied. I like to tie these tiny ones.
How do you make the loop smaller?
Don't make such a big loop to start with. Just comes with practice. It's easier to do big ones, especially when your fingers are cold. Right, now these hooks I've tied at home. They're little tiny hooks. That's a size 22, very fine wire, tied to 1 pound breaking strain line, finer than we've used before. And I've got some others there that are silver. And I'll explain why we've got the silver ones when we get into the baits. Right, now put that on loop to loop, like we learnt before. Then we're going to plumb the depth. Get the shot out ready. Got it on? Wet it. Little moisten. That's it. Tighten up. Good. Now, get the plummet on. Lead-free plummet. Hook through there. This is different from the other one. The other ones we've used have all been clip-ons, haven't they? Yeah, flat bottom. I like to use a flat bottom plummet here because sometimes the bottom can be silty and that will sit on the bottom rather than bury in like the bullet-shaped ones do. Now let's have a guess at the depth. How deep do you reckon?
5 foot.
Don't think it'll quite be that. Lift your rod up, swing the float down, and I'll show you the trick of fixing your float on the line to plumb the depth accurately with a waggler. All right? No shot, no locking shot. Make a loop in your line like that, pass it over the top of the float. Now that's attached on just like it was fixed top and bottom. But when you do it like that, number one, it's much easier to cast the plummet, and number two, it sits up straight in the water instead of having to wait for it to settle. You don't need any weights either side, which makes it difficult to cast your plummet. Right, just swing that out about 2/3 of the way across. Just an underarm swing. That's it, perfect. Oh, that's disappeared well out of sight. Oh, wait a minute, mate, no. Can you see it just under the surface?
Oh, yeah.
Float?
Yeah.
Oh, we're not far out. Come in, we'll put about 8 inches on that, because I'm going to fish a bit over depth, or you're going to fish a bit over depth, to keep the bait really steady. Up a bit more.
Do it again just to make sure.
Yeah, we'll just put it up that 8 inches, just hold it where it's come off. That's about 8 inches. Now what should happen now, virtually the whole of the float should be out of the water. Try it again, see if you can get it in the same place. Not bad. Yeah. Just take your slack up. Try and remember to close the bail arm with your fingers. Remember I told you?
Yeah. You see how much float is out of water?
Yeah.
Is that how much you're over depth?
Yeah. That's how much we're over depth. We're going to go about 3 or 4 inches deeper than that, and then we're going to put some shot on. Wind in. That's it. The deepest water through here will be right through the middle of the canal where the boats go. Now what I'm going to do is shot you up. These are tiny little micro shot.
Can I have a look?
Really tiny. They come out of that little slot there and come out one at a time. Just squeeze it. Oh, you got a couple out? Good. Will you take those 2 number 10s? Because that's what we're going to use down the line.
How'd you get them on the line?
I'll show you. I've got a number 12 here, which really is tiny. See, look. They've got a split in like the normal shot. That just goes
How
on.
if you've got heavy line though?
I won't go on heavy line. But you wouldn't be using tiny little shot like this with very heavy line, you see. Let's have those 2. One at a time.
Drop one.
Get another one out. That's it, number 10. These are too small to pinch on with your fingers. They go into the flesh of your fingers. You can't get them on. 3. Right, now we're going to lock the float off. It's supposed to take 3 BB. Take your rod around. That's it. Let some line out. That's it. Good. That stayed in the perfect place on the line. 3 BB out. And there. All lead-free specials. Let's see how accurate they are. Oh, I'm getting quite warm sitting here in this sun out the wind, didn't you?
Yeah.
Couldn't believe we were walking on the paddles when we got here. The bank's starting to thaw out and everything. Oh, we might just catch a few. Be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Right, now just lift up slowly. Let's take the old plummet off. I want you to, don't have to swing it out quite so far. Just drop it more or less in the middle, and let's see how that float sits in the water. It's pure guesswork. I've not used it before, honest. No, just drop it in. Just drop it in. That's it. No need for big violent swings. We're not going to be fishing too far out. Do a little sideways cast. Leave it a second. Let's see if those number 10s register. I think we want a couple more number 10s on that, don't you? Leave it just for a second. Let's just make absolutely sure it's all settled. No, a couple more number 10s. Swing it to me. Good. What I'll do with these, I've got number 12s out. Those in your pocket out of the way. I got so used to do it, you've got the best idea, tip them into your hands. I'd get so used to getting them out on my tongue, I do it like that all the time. There's extra few back. Right. 2 number 10s. I once knew a bloke that could put a handful of shot in his mouth, just run the line through between his lips, and every shot would be on the line in exactly the right place, in exactly the right position. You heard of Ivan Marks?
No.
Haven't you? Great angler. That was the man. Could do all sorts of party pieces like that, could Ivan? Try that now. Just gently in the middle. Well, that was a bit of bad timing, Lee. I thought your casting had got better than that. That's it. Now let's see. That should make all the difference.
Bit more shot.
Do you reckon one more?
1 or 2, yeah.
Try one more?
Yeah.
Right, come on in. One more.
Look, there's a lot of fish out there today.
I hope so, yeah. Get this one on, and then we can have a look at the baits. Right, try that. Sorry, I've twisted it around your ring, that's it. Gently into the same spot. That's it, wind it back a bit. Good.
Perfect.
Now that would be nowhere near enough float sticking out for a river or even for a lake if it was windy, but for this canal that's perfect because the bites in this very cold water are just going to be tiny. Let's bring that in, put the hook in the butt, and we'll have a look now at your bait.
Hold on.
Got it, how you do it?
Where's the butt?
Yeah, in there, in the real seat. Right. Lay your rod down along the... Wait, here, put it there if you like, that's safe there. Safe and out of the way, good. Position your keep net like that so you can put your rod on there, because if you lift the butt up, the cork handle, and put it on your box, you'll see it lays in a nice position relative to the water. See? And then your landing net's laying beside it, so should you catch anything that needs a net, you can just slide it out. Now, here's your baits. As it's a canal, we can be really sparing with bait, don't need much at all. I've got some squats that are now about a fortnight old, and any other maggot a fortnight old would be no good.
How comes they ain't turned into flies?
Well, what squats are these? Are little house flies maggots. The house flies that buzz around your lights in the summer, that's what these are. But when they're maggots, they're the only maggot that will go back on the feed once it's been lifted. With all the blue bottle maggots and the green fly maggots, the ordinary maggots and pinkies that is, they'll never eat again. But these will, and they're vegetarians, they eat bread. And in there you'll see crusts and bits of brown bread, where every time I get in from fishing, get a slice of brown bread, damp it under the tap, put it in, and they eat it. And they are as good as new. You couldn't buy better squats than that, straight off a bait farm. 1 or 2 little red pinkies in there as well, and there's some more red pinkies here. I'll give you an idea how cold it is, they're scarcely moving. 2 colours of red, the fluorescent red, which are particularly good in this very cold weather, and the normal dark blood red, which perch seem to like quite a bit. All right?
Yeah.
And here we've got just a very, very few
Yellow
maggots that I've had left over from previous outings. And if we should get lucky, or fancy having a go at a quality fish, we could try a yellow maggot on the hook as an alternative. Oh, throw him out, we don't want to squat. Right, now, catapult. Have a practice. I'm sure this is the last thing you'd ever want to do in your life. Take the catapult, put some squats in, and fire them over towards that bush. Not quite into the bush,
How many
but
should I
just
chuck in?
oh, just a few, just a few. Now, it's still winter.
Where do you want it by the
Just
bush?
short of that bush over there. See how good a shot you are. Bet you could do it with a stone.
Oh,
Oh, that weren't very good, was it? No.
still got...
Oh, that was better. Here, put a few more and have another go.
I never held it there, that's why.
Yep, that's it. Like an expert. Right. Squats down. Red pinky on the hook. And see how good you are at casting. Remember how to put the pinkies on. Put them on exactly the same way as a maggot.
Like we done at the river.
Yep. Well remembered. Perfect. Now just a gentle truck. Oh, quick winding, quick.
Oh,
That's it. Try casting sideways like we did with the stick float. Yeah, another pinky on.
Right.
Yeah, swing it in, I'll do it. Don't forget with the waggler, you're casting the float rather than the weights. You know, with a stick float you're casting, got to worry about where the weights are going. With a waggler, all you've got to worry about is where the float's going. Get on. There you go. Nice little sideways swing. Not, all right, over your head swing then. That's it, perfect. Rod tip under. Get the line sunk. Quick jerk, jerk the rod. Near enough. Little quick flick to the side, give it a quick flick sideways. Get rid of the rest of that line. Yeah, like this, let me show you. There you are. Gone. Now let's see if I'm a better shot than you. See if I can get some squats around that float. You get too good a shot with this, I'll have you coming out and me firing me bait out. That weren't a bad
Why
shot.
are there barges along here?
Well, despite the fact it's such a lovely water for fishing, it's still very much a working canal. These are mainly holiday craft. We've got a marina just down the road. But sometimes the fish hug the far bank, but they live under the boats. They give them comfort, warmth and security. Most of these are holiday craft, but you still get plenty of boats carrying wood and coal, all sorts of things up and down the canal, because it joins the Thames to the rest of the country, you see. The whole system goes for miles and miles. I think that might be a little bite. Strike, strike, strike. That didn't take long, did it? Oh, look at that gudgy. Yeah, let me have him.
I ain't had one of them before.
Ain't you?
No.
That's a beautiful gudgeon, that is. They don't normally go this big. There's quite a few in this bit of the canal. Drop your hook in and I'll show you what they're like. Look. Purple spots almost along its back. Lovely speckled fins.
Can I hold him?
Yeah, you can put him gently in the net. No, not in that net. Put him gently in the keep net.
I'll get my hands with it.
Oh, that's it. Oh, well done. Well remembered. Well remembered. Two little barbels either side of its mouth, see?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, slip him in the net. Gently. Well, that's it. That's it. Right, quick. Let's get out and catch another one. Right. Better fire some more squats out, I think, don't you? When you come on this canal, I know you're going to like fishing here because you're going to catch a few fish, but always make sure you come with someone. Because although they look nice and safe, if you try and stand in the water where you see it's shallow, they can be really silty and you can get all sorts of problems like that. And always stay well away from electric cables. What's happening here? That's terrific, that is. Two on the trot, look. Perch, careful, mind your fingers. Remember what I told you?
Yeah.
They're the first fish you ever caught. Do you remember on the worm?
Yeah.
Be very, very careful with them. Hold you up. They've got those spines. Lovely. Whoa. There, see, look. Little fat belly. Like the one I showed you when we first went out. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Fat belly when they're getting ready to spawn. Slip her in the net.
They're so small when they start to spawn already.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, on the canals they seem to get mature very early. Now, remember what I was telling you about always go with two people? I just started to mention other things when you had that bite. Never ever sit anywhere near overhead wires. Always be at least 15 metres away or further. Okay? If you know they're telegraph wires, that's not too bad. But what you'll find on all the dangerous ones, there's going to be a series of signs put up, but don't take chances. Don't sit near any of them. All right?
Well, in case your rod hits it or something.
Well, yeah, carbon fibre is a good conductor of electricity, and it doesn't even have to hit it. on a horrible, miserable day, when it's all, you know, the drizzly sort of weather you get sometimes, especially in the autumn, well, electricity can arc over quite long distances. It can travel through the air, and it can still give you a nasty kick, I can tell you. Always be very, very wary of that.
You see on the far bank there,
Yeah.
where all them kind of bushes overhanging?
That's just ivy. The green stuff against the bank's ivy.
Yeah.
And you always get trees and bushes. Oh, I'll tell you in a minute. Let's let this aeroplane go over. The Battle of Britain today. I think there's an air museum nearby actually, because although that's a modern jet, some of them have been a right old heap. Oh, it's a fighter. Actually a fighter. Was that another fish?
Yeah.
Dear, oh dear. That looks like a bit of a better one. Oh, it's a roach. Oh, that's a nice roach. Especially for this cold water. Let's swing him in. Oh no, out into the net.
That isn't a roach.
It is a roach, you know. It's silver.
Could have been so.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
But what is it?
Ah. That's a roach bream hybrid.
What are they?
Well, it's a cross between a roach and a bream. They've not got the same amount of colour in their fins. Slightly different shape around the mouth. And instead of having that orange eye,
Yes.
see, it's a bit yellow, almost a pop eye they get, with very little colour. Instead of being that lovely blue colour that roach are, they're much altogether greyer. They just don't look right. See, the head just don't look like a normal roach's head.
What, do you mean the bream and the roach mate?
Well, really, what happens is the female bream lays her eggs and the male roach swims over and fertilises them, you see. Let's put them in. That's it, Jimmy. Oh, that's it, he swung away.
They like the pinky.
Well done.
Should we try double?
Try double, yeah. Try double. I'll put some more squats out for you.
Might even be better to try fluorescent and the red, yeah?
Yeah.
Perch like the red.
What?
Perch like the red, that's what you said.
Perch like the red, yeah. Mind you, I'm catching a few more of them nice hybrids or even roach, would you?
Just another red one, please. Two fluorescents, never mind.
I thought it was a red one. That's it.
It sucks into a little twist.
That's it.
Try there.
A few more squats in. Oh, another bite. We waited a bit longer for that one. That's that double maggot. I think we have to go back to a single, don't you?
Yeah, missed it.
Swing him out. Oh, no acting, no acting. It's only a Lipton. Do you want to unhook him? Go on, you unhook.
Try.
Remember how I showed you? That's it. Slide him in the net nice and gently. Lovely little fish. I like gudging. They're friendly little things. Talk to you sometimes, you know. They do. As you unhook them, they go. Make all noises like that.
Shall I put one on this time?
Yeah, just put one on. Put a dark red one on for a change.
I've got one on.
Got a dark red, good. I'll fire some more squats in.
I'm sure you're good at firing.
Seems to work, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's it. It's a bit chilly now, that sun's gone in, isn't it?
Got some clouds though coming over.
Yeah, I was dreading that happening. Thought it was too good to last. You're sitting in the sunshine. Big blanket of cloud comes in. I suppose it'll be raining in a minute.
Yeah.
How are you enjoying yourself?
Good. It's good,
What-
yeah. I like it.
You like it? What do you like best? The rivers, the lakes?
Was that
or
a
the-
little touch there?
Might have been. You're watching it, I'm watching you.
Oh.
It's like we picked the right swim here for sure, isn't
Yeah.
it? What's that?
Oh.
Oh, it's gone into a snag. Play it gently. The fish is still there, I can see it. Is it still there? You've got half the canal bottom there. So as soon as you hook them, they dive for cover. Let's see. Keep it coming. Yeah, the fish is still there.
That's it, rippling.
Right.
Oh, come out.
Yeah, they dive for that bit of cover as soon as you strike.
Another small
Got him out of
roach.
that rubbish just in time. No, it's not a roach. No, it's a rudd. Look at that. See those bright red fins?
Yeah.
Bright red tip to its tail. British waterways have stocked a few in these bits of the canal. Lovely, attractive fish. The other thing you can tell them from roach, very similar shape, but the dorsal fin here starts much further back than the line up from these two fins on its belly. On a roach, it's dead in line, but a rudd, it's always laid back a bit. Let's get him in the net quick. Also, see the difference in the mouth? The bottom of the mouth sticks out rather than roaches. The top of the mouth sticks out. Lovely little fish. Right. Another maggot on. Yeah, let's do that. No, I'll do it. Don't pull. I'll put your maggot on for you. Let's try one of these big yellows. That was a nice fish. Might get another one. Go on, out you go. A little bit more coaching on that casting, I think. You're getting it a little bit high. It's not too bad. I've got another bait. I've got another bait with me that Rudd really like. That I was going to start with. When I saw the water...
sandwiches?
No, you thought it was sandwiches, didn't you? No. It's one of the ingredients of sandwiches. It's bread.
What do you do? Just
Just
chuck
ordinary
it in?
sliced bread. Sorry?
What do you do? Just chuck it in and the fish
No.
eat it?
No, what you do, use a tool called a bread punch. I'll show you one.
What do you do? Punch the bread or something?
Yeah, you do, almost that. So, oh, open the wrong catch in my box. There. That's a bread punch. You've got those 4 brass holes there, like that. And what you do, there's a bite, strike. Took another nice fish. Well, let's give the game away. I've just seen it swell. You've got a skimmer bream.
What do you mean? Is it a different type to a bream?
No, it's the same as an ordinary bream. But you see how that's coming across the water like that?
Yeah.
But it's skimming. And when they're that size, you can land them like that. They call them skimmers. Good name, innit?
It's like a nickname.
That's another fish that suckers for punch bread as well. I don't know if you... As they get older, they get darker. This goes brown, bronzy colour on their back. In fact, the old name for them used to be bronze bream. Hey, lovely fish. Long fin there. Slide them in your net. Always lovely and smooth bream. Head first. Good. Right. Don't cast out a minute because I want to show you one or two things about the bread. See these different varieties of punch there, all different sizes. And there's a slot in the side so you can punch your pellet of bread out like that. Got your hook? Give us your hook. That can just go through into the bread like that. And when it's done, I've got a thin bit of bread. But you've sat on that. That's it. Go through into the bread like that. And you're ready to go.
Did you try it?
No, I'll tell you why we won't try it. We're catching too many fish on maggots and pinkies and that for a start. But you also need some ground bait, just ordinary breadcrumb. You can make your own. I'd rather eat bread than make ground bait with it. You can buy bags of breadcrumb like that, already mixed up, ever so fine. That's just brown breadcrumb. It's holding the bag, so just like very fine grains of powder, you see? Look. See?
This is like ground bait.
It is ground bait. You just mix that with water into like a cloud and then it goes. We're not going to do any more of that today. Going to get and catch another fish. What do you want, another yellow maggot?
Yeah.
Right.
Catching a bigger fish.
Right, it didn't catch a big one that time, didn't it? Go on, out you go.
It was closer in that time though, weren't it?
Ah, that's all right. That's all right. As long as you're in the shadow of that, or in the cover of that bush, and not too far away from the boat, there's going to be a few fish around. They like that old squat feed as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
You noticed how many different types of fish we caught today? All from this one swim. Bet you're surprised by that, ain't you?
Lots of varieties.
There
Do you
is
think there's more other specimens down there? Others?
Well, I don't know about specimens, there's all sorts of other things under the water. You wouldn't believe some of them. Earlier on in the season, I was fishing a match behind King's Cross Station and I caught a terrapin. Really? Took the bait. I thought it was a bream I struck and it didn't fight. So I felt it sort of bumped its head when I struck and I wound in all slow and it didn't fight at all. Picked the landing up and I thought it was a bunch of twigs. It was quite a big thing. I mean, it had struggled to fit into my hat and it had taken the cast to fair and square and there's a nature reserve down there, so I hooked it, slipped it in my landing net, took it round and put it in a nature reserve. Missed that one, didn't you?
Yeah.
Another maggot on. Chewed that one to bits.
Must be my first bite I missed all day.
Yeah, miss a few more. Got all wet in the maggots are climbing up the side of the box.
You ain't having me on about that terrapin, are you?
No, it's true.
I don't believe you.
Well, it's true, I'm telling you. I wouldn't tell you a fib, would I? When have I lied to you before?
Alright then. Do you reckon I'll catch one today?
Oh, I don't think you'll catch one of those. No, we're not at King's Cross today, are we?
What other stuff live under the water?
Oh, there's all sorts of things. You wouldn't believe it. I mean, I know a few of the things, but nowhere near all of them. I'll tell you what, though. I know a man who does.
Can we go and see him?
Right, Lee. This is the man I was telling you about before. He's Steve Griffiths, who's the Regional Fisheries Officer for British Waterways. And he's been along the bank this morning having a few dives in with his net. And it looks like he's coming up now with another lot. He's already got us one pile of goodies.
Oh, we've got plenty of fish.
Oh. Looks like the weighing on a winter league.
I think we do all right. There's a little skimmer bream.
Yeah.
Tiny little bream.
You can is it a silver bream or is it a common
No,
bream?
I think that's a common bream.
Is it?
His eye's quite smaller. A silver bream has a bigger eye.
Yeah, it's quite difficult to tell at that stage, isn't it?
Very, very delicate, those are. Put them straight in. Some of these other fish are a bit hardier. We've got quite a lot of minnows.
It's a fair sized minnow, isn't it?
It's not bad, is it? Few minnows.
Is that a stickleback there?
And
Just
there's
by-
a stickleback. Yeah, that's the usual common 3-spine stickleback.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know whether there is any 10-spine in here. We'll have to see. Oh, there we are. I've mentioned 10-spine, and there's one straight away. There's a 10-spine
Oh,
stickleback.
they're much more unusual, aren't they?
Yeah, they're much rarer. Perhaps you can see the difference between them.
If they lay still for long enough.
If they will.
Yeah, that one's just starting to go a bit pink there on its belly. I suppose because it's getting near spawning
Yeah,
time.
that's right. That's probably a
It'll
male.
be a little
coming-
male. Let's put him in
starting to colour up.
and see if we can see the 10-spine.
Yeah.
Altogether slimmer.
Yeah, there's a couple more 10-spine.
They look prehistoric. Oh, for rare ones, we've got quite a lot, haven't we?
Yeah, we're doing okay. Well, usually where they do occur, they're actually quite common, but
Are they?
they're not very well distributed throughout the country.
What's that?
Oh no, that's a big freshwater shrimp, Lee. There we are, that's quite a big one for a freshwater shrimp. See how he moves sideways there? And he swims through the water and he can swim quite fast once he gets going. I don't know if we managed to spot him when we put him in the water.
Need a few of them for an omelette, wouldn't
There he
you?
goes, can you see him?
Yeah.
And let's see what else. And now here's one that looks very like a shrimp, and you might recognise this as something you've seen in your dad's garden.
Wood
And
lice.
Well, it's very like a wood lice, and it's actually called a pond lice, and it's a similar species. I think is there actually two there? Yes, they're actually paired up, ready for breeding. And you quite often see them like that, popping back into the water.
I happen to know you've got a couple of toads in a similar position in that.
That's right. When we've had
bucket
a
there.
dip earlier
That's
on,
interesting because they pair up, don't they? And the female, as usual, does all the donkey work. Goes
That's
the
right.
male around.
Is that a 10-spine
That's
stickleback?
right. Oh, you can see his spines as
Yeah.
well.
It's
there.
very clear, that is, yeah.
Very.
Yeah.
That's
Until
the,
she, let's get it in there quick.
that's the
till she-
female underneath
Yeah.
doing all the work.
She lays her eggs and then the male just fertilises them. And he's going to be quite aggressive. If I tried to to catch her, he'd probably...
He'll take some prizing off.
Yeah.
In fact, they reckon that they'll actually blind fish by gripping onto them so tightly. If you've got ornamental fish in a garden pond.
Should we release him straight away?
Yeah, I think he's probably as well just let him go, eh?
Pop him in this little stream.
Let him get on with his business.
That's it, yeah. Not spoil his day.
There's some snails in here. They're an important source of food for the fish. The fish like those to eat. There we can see those.
I'd love to know why these bits of wood are walking about the bottom of this tray.
Right, well, if you just hold on while I put these fish back into the water.
Right, Steve. Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
And we'll have a look what's in the tray. Right. Here we've got some bits of woods walking
That's
about.
the one that was walking about.
That one there. And in actual fact, that's a caddisfly larva. And inside there, there's actually a little grub who builds a little home out of sticks so that the fish doesn't realise that it's a grub, because the fish would eat it straight away. Though some of the trout get quite clever and eat the lot. And I dare say a few other fish do as well. And they actually make all sorts of different cases. There's one made out of sticks that's quite differently. Sometimes they're made out of stones. They would all be different species. Although we say they're caddisfly larvae, there are lots and lots of different species of caddisfly, and actually lots and lots of different species of most of the things that we've got in here. And you can tell they're different because the cases are quite different. All made of different materials. Sometimes they make them of little stones, sometimes of sticks, sometimes of leaves. We've got lots of different ones in there.
In amongst all these dozens and dozens of fish, I've noticed one there that's going to be much too small for me to catch. Now it looks like a loach.
It is.
Well, it's a clever loach, isn't it?
It is a loach, but it's not the common loach. It looks almost prehistoric in shape, doesn't it? And it's actually a spined loach, I think. I don't come across those usually in the part of the country where I'm from, but since I've never seen one that looks quite like that before, I'm fairly sure it is a spined loach. Yeah.
Why do things do change from region to region, don't they? One river's species can look quite different from another's.
That's right. Well, it's quite difficult to tell because the environment will change the shape of things, and also when we say a water boatman, there might be 3 or 4 different sorts of water boatmen. In fact, I think I've spotted about 3 sorts of water boatmen there. That's the greater water boatman.
It's a big one. He's got that lovely pattern on his back, on his belly rather.
Yeah, well they actually swim. This is his belly, but he swims upside down.
Oh yeah.
And he's got some big jaws underneath there. They'll actually give you quite a nasty bite.
I believe you.
He hangs around, hanging underneath the water. Yeah. He comes up underneath anything that's stranding on the water and eats it. And he will actually eat quite a few fish as well. And now here's something that's really special. Look at this one.
Oh, now that's the size of a stag beetle.
That's a great diving beetle, and he stays in the water and catches little fish and eats them, and he'll actually eat little fish perhaps as big as this little rudd here. He wouldn't hesitate to eat that. And he actually has a larva that lives underwater that's even more carnivorous than he is. And these will actually come out of the water at night and fly around, and you'll sometimes find them on the garden path because they see the reflection of the light in the window and think it's water and try to land in it. But that's one of the hazards that all the little fish have to face before they grow up from being an egg to the fish that hopefully you'll be able to catch one day.
See these swan mussels here, Steve?
Yeah.
That one there, you can see it's just going slightly pearlised, mother of pearl on its back there. And I noticed the smaller one there has got its foot out.
That's right.
Where they walk around. Oh, what's that beast next to it?
That's a damselfly larva. You know, the ones with the bright blue wings that you see perched on the end of your rod or on your float?
Oh, see, settle on my float, make your float sink. Yeah, I've seen that.
That turns into one of those. He's quite a vicious looking sort of beast, isn't he? He looks like something again that's prehistoric.
Now that without a doubt is the most beautiful fly I've ever seen and the ugliest creature I've ever seen that it derives from.
Here's another one that's a close relation of it, and that's a dragonfly larva. Looks like a bit of dead wood. Yeah. But they don't half shoot through the water, and they're very carnivorous as well, and eat lots of little fish. And he one day will turn, he's starting to wake up now and move about.
I'm glad you're holding him, mate.
And you can actually see the wing case. If you look carefully, Lee, you can see there on his back the cases that will become the wings one day.
You can, yeah.
You can see there, inside there are his wings, all shriveled up, ready to spread out one day.
That's incredible. Well, I'll tell you what, Steve, you've done us a right turn today. I mean, I know a few things that live underneath where I was fishing, but you just wouldn't believe there was anything like that amount of variety
Well, there's
in a relatively small stretch of water.
There's so much food for the fish, and so there's different sorts of snails, lots of different. So there's a little pea mussel that he's got his foot out as well.
Yeah.
He's like a small version of the swan
Steve,
mussel.
that's got
There's
out.
one that's got out, and there's another snail.
It's no wonder that some days I can't get a bite on my maggots, is it?
It's not. With all that to eat, it's no wonder that you ever catch anything at all.
That's right. Well, thanks ever so much for coming down, Steve. I've really enjoyed it. It's absolutely intriguing. I think I might spend an hour or two with you yet.
Well, I must confess, once I start dipping in it, I sometimes end up missing my tiki. So many different things to find.
That's fabulous. Cheers, mate. Thanks ever so much. Really enjoyed it. Thank you. That was interesting, mate, wasn't it?
Yeah, all them different species of fish and insects and all sorts.
What did that diving beetle? You didn't want to hold him for too long, did you?
I like the things that I was sort of like, I never understood. It's like, you know, the wood things.
Oh, like the water louse? Just like a wood louse. So you say what you get under the bits of wood in the back garden, yeah? Brilliant, isn't it?
What about and the one, the insect that builds like a little house of wood and he moves
Caddy
about
scrubs, yeah. Fish eat them. I bet there's some of those in here. I'm not going to disturb our swim though, we're doing it. There's a bite, there's a bite. That's like a good fish again.
Just staying in one spot. I think he's gone.
Has it gone in a snag? Hasn't that found another snag? That must be rotten now, there's only so many fish there. Is the fish still there? Can you feel it?
No.
So let's have a look. Bring him in.
Yeah, he's on.
Is he on?
I'm not sure.
I think I can see it just behind. Keep coming. Keep it coming. Try and get it this way. Ah, there it is. It's come free. Got him. They've got a habit of taking you into them snags, isn't it?
What's that? Is that a rod?
No, it's a roach.
Oh yeah.
It's a good roach too.
I see the fins. I thought that was a bit bright.
No, it's getting. Oh, look. There.
Oh.
It's getting on for 7 or 8 ounces.
It's
Remember
lovely.
those, didn't you?
Yeah.
Orange fins, orange eye.
Yeah, that's a roach because the fins are level.
Fins line up.
Yeah.
That's it. Well seen. Had a bit of fish louse. You see where those odd scales are missing?
Yeah.
It's fish louse causes that. That's one of those things that Steve showed us, remember?
Oh yeah.
There we go, head first.
It looks like an eel. That's
Smashing.
that one. Looks like a small eel.
No, the one that looks like what goes in your garden. Similar to that, but smaller.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Stick another one.
Another yellow maggot on.
Yeah.
You've got a bit of chewed up yellow maggot on your hand.
From that roach.
There you go, good cast.
Hope I don't knock into a snag. Oh, yes.
Whoa, that was a bit living dangerously. That's it.
Oh,
Getting a bit
I'm
ace
enjoying
with that
this
catapult,
today.
aren't you? You enjoyed yourself?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Been brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't think, judging by what the weather was like this morning with that frost and everything, I didn't think we'd have anything like such a good day as we've had
We
today.
started off catching a few small fish and then they got bigger.
Yeah,
Like,
a lot of varieties we've had.
yeah,
We had roach,
gudgeon,
gudgeon, perch, rudd.
hybrid. Don't forget
Oh
that.
yeah, had
roach.
hybrid, and that skimmer.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Mm.
I'll tell you what though, we've got a fair way to travel home, about an hour and a half. I reckon it's going to take us at least an hour and a half in the traffic, and I've promised to get you home by tea time, don't forget.
Yeah.
Was that a bite?
Yeah. Got him on.
Good lad. Yeah, look
big
where that's
fish.
running, that is a good fish.
What do you reckon it is? A chub, maybe?
No, there's no chub here. You've been reading too many books, mate. Might be a little carp, they've been stocked in here.
How about a big roach?
No, roach don't run like that. Not even big uns.
How about a bream?
No, nor the bream. You'll go through them all in a minute. Wait a minute, we're going to see it a second. Pick them up and get ready on the edge, nice and quiet.
How about a perch?
No, it could be. Big swirl on the top.
They look like a perch. I see some.
Oh, it is, you've got ESP. It is a perch. Come on, careful, careful. This is where you like to lose fish at their last dive.
Yes. He was trying to shake you cat there,
Got him.
wasn't he? Oh, that's the biggest fish I've ever caught, Keith.
Is it?
It's massive.
That's a cracker, isn't it? There's a cracker.
Oh.
It's certainly the biggest perch you've ever
Oh,
caught.
look what he's done with the hook.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll soon get that out. There. Look at that. That's a lovely fish, isn't it?
Last fish of the day.
Yeah. Do you want to slip him in the net?
I'll hold him. Shall I hold these down? Shall I hold him first?
Just hold him for a second then. Hand's nice and wet. Well done. How'd you like that?
Alright, brilliant,
I'll
Keith.
tell you what, I'm proud of the way you handled that fish. I was going to pull you in at one stage. Just think, we've only been out a few times together fishing. The amount you've learned is unbelievable. You've caught quality fish today on the canal, float fishing here. You've been running a stick float down the river. Look at the fish you caught there, remember?
Yeah.
And on the lake, in those really horrible conditions, you've handled yourself brilliant. And I know you can catch fish like that regular. But I think you've got to learn one or two more methods. One of them's ledgering. But before you can go ledgering, we've got to see about getting you a new rod. We'll have to have a chat to your dad.
Ain't my dad's got enough money.
I'm sure he's got enough, it won't cost him a fortune. Put the rod down, let's have a look at the fish before we pack up. Right.
See what we got.
Yeah, plenty. Plenty's what we got. Let's get over. Swimming their way up to the top of the net. Yeah, come round there, you can see them. Swimming back. There. Look at that. Come on, out you go. Come on.
With that skimmer.
There they go. All back ready for another
Yeah.
day. Let's hit the road.
Yeah.